Welcome to TradeLens, a chatbot for interacting with the US Maritime Import Dataset by ImportGenius. The first thing to access this app is to sign in with a Gmail account. Any Gmail account can work, and you have a whitelist to allow specifically which emails you want to allow access to the app and not. You can see in the main page here, we have a chat interface, and on the left, we have some settings that control the app function. The first thing you'll notice is the user selection. Every account on this app has a private user that they can select, or you can create a shared user that every account on this system has access to. For this, we'll create a user called December Demo, and we'll add it. You see our current user is now December Demo. In terms of the settings here, there are a few that deal with preferences, things like what you want your default aggregation metric to be. We selected weight. Should we filter to just the past 1 year of data? Should we force fuzzy shirt? A few options for presentation to show aggregations and data preview, and then a few options surrounding the actual app functionality. So let's get started here. Let's pretend that I represent America Furniture Warehouse, which is one of the top importers of furniture in the US. And let's say I want to explore imports of wooden furniture into the United States. Let's start by seeing where this furniture comes from. This processing happens, as you can see here. There's numerous processing steps, and each one has a time associated with it. Queries take on average 30 seconds to run, so we're going to go ahead and fast forward through most of the processing to get to the meat of this app. So you can see right here we have a graph, top weight by exporting countries. Vietnam is by far the most, and then we can see China and Indonesia are pretty closely tied for second. If you ever want to make sure that this is running the correct query, you can actually go up here to processing details. And not only will you see all the timings and the total time, you can actually read a description of the query that was run and view the DSL query itself in the actual JSON format that it's run in. So very easy to verify what is going on behind the scenes. Here we have our natural language description, a response, and then some suggested questions. Okay, now let's look at current suppliers. What countries supply our furniture? We can see here this has limited us down just to the American Furniture Warehouse, my company. We can see that we're heavily concentrated in Vietnam, which reflects the total data we saw above. However, China is missing from our suppliers. In the overall data set, it was tied with Indonesia, roughly tied for number 2. So let's dig into that a little bit more. Let's ask about suppliers specifically from China. Okay, great. Here we can see all of the individual suppliers that are selling goods from China and in what quantities. We can see that these are pretty large quantities, on par with what we've been importing this year from Indonesia. So we should be able to find a good supplier here. My question now is, what consignees are importing from these various providers? We can see that's actually one of the suggested follow-up questions. So we can just click that. Excellent. Now we can see all the companies importing from China and the quantities that they are importing, specifically of wooden furniture. Now we can see that there's companies like Amazon, is in logistics, and IKEA is actually one of the ones I'm most interested in. They're one of the biggest competitors for us. So our question is going to be, who supplies to IKEA? And there we see, there is exactly one supplier that IKEA uses for almost their entire Chinese inventory. This is a similar volume to what we're importing from Indonesia and could be a very sufficient supplier for us. This can allow us to decrease our reliance on Vietnam and India and potentially find a really nice supplier in China that's already working in the volumes we need, with the products we need, and with companies similar to ours. Now let's take a quick look at the product side of things. One of the ImportGenius researchers recently got asked about a specific product from Erie that is no longer produced. The goal was to find the manufacturer so the customer could reach out and try to source this product directly. How do we find this? We just simply ask, who makes this product? As we can see, this pulled in a sample of data, and it found 2 companies that might manufacture this product. Specifically, PT Haplan in Indonesia, we know is the right answer. When the researcher from ImportGenius went and found this product and ran the queries themselves to try and identify the manufacturing plant, this is the result they got. We were able to get the same result in 30 seconds with 1 query. Now, the last thing I'd like to show you is over in the side panel here. You have the ability to revisit past conversations, and you also have this user profile where the model will extract facts about the user based on the conversations it's had in the past. And it can use these facts to help really customize the types of questions that it suggests as a follow-up and how it constructs its answers. That means that this system, the more you use it, the more customized it will be to you. The easier it will be to do the things you want to do.